All right, troops, what's happening? What's happening? Right, so I'm getting a bit of traffic. I'm assuming burpees are popular right now or something because my traffic's increasing. So I want to make a wee video, and it's a genuine video, and what we're going to talk about is the dark side of burpees. There's a darkness that comes with burpees, and I'm not talking about the endurance aspect or the psychological terror that they bring, but I'm meaning more the actual injury side and things that you may encounter at some point, and a few ideas or any of my advice in order to help with these situations when they occur. Now, pretty much three come to mind immediately. First one is wrist problems. Repeated burpees over time will or are likely to cause wrist issues for people who choose to do this as their main way of training. You're going to get wrist issues. It's common sense that you're going to get wrist issues because the angle that you're putting your wrist in over high reps and the lack of stability is going to ensure that something like carpal tunnel syndrome, I think, or just that nagging pain that you might get in your wrist, that might materialise. So I would suggest, or in fact, I would tell people that they at the very least need to get wrist wraps. You can get wrist wraps on Amazon. Any type will do. You just want ones that you can wrap around your wrists quite tightly. That is going to be a great start, and that's going to probably add a wee bit of longevity to the process. One thing I would also suggest is that you get a set of parallettes, mini parallettes or push-up handles. That's pretty good for a lot of guys if they can set them up in the right position and just use them so that they're grabbing them. That's going to take a lot of pressure off the wrists, man. Believe me, I have got a nagging wrist injury that's never really left me since I've pretty much taken up burpees, and it doesn't look like it's going away, which shows you how fragile the wrists are. Hopefully it will pass over time and we'll get to that. Okay, number two is a shoulder issue. Shoulder issues are going to crop up as well. That's just something that you can't escape. I think just due to the massive volume of pushing that high rep burpees, particularly ones with the higher pumps, can create or bring about. And how do we negate shoulder injuries? Well, the one way I would go about it is just trying to make your burpee as compact as possible with regards to your pushing. You don't want to have your arms flailing, although I do know some people can do that and they don't experience any issues. However, I think if you've got more of a narrow grip or a narrow stance on the burpee, you're probably going to put less stress on that shoulder joint. I've just found that if I keep it compact, then any shoulder issues I have developed don't really aren't exacerbated by the push-up. I like to keep things compact and it works for me, so maybe that is also an option that you should explore. Now, number three is one I hold very close to my heart, and it's the reason why I've made this video, because I have suffered an injury along these lines, and I'm going to go into this one in a bit more depth, so I might go on a wee tangent. The third one is lower back issues. If you have lower back issues, then I would probably consider choosing another exercise choice. Like burpees, I probably wouldn't go for, right? And I'll tell you why. Now, I experienced lower back pains when I get into my burpees. Probably before I did my 2,500, I experienced a back issue the night before, and it was a back spasm that kicked in. And anybody who's had a back spasm knows that you can't move for a while until the spasm disappears and loosens up. So these incidents started to crop up over time since that period. And what happened would be, I would be doing something, a burpee or whatever, I would feel a nagging pain in my back. Now, it's also happened with a lot of other exercises, particularly a Romanian deadlift issue. That was the only other one that comes to mind. But both of those injuries, they were pretty much cleared up within a day or two. No problems ever since. However, around about 5-6 weeks ago, I was getting out my car and my back locked, but it locked. This wasn't like the previous two incidents. It locked super hard and I was out the game for a while, 2-3 weeks, where I was in a lot of pain. like the worst pain I've ever experienced in that region. I was put on crazy painkillers, which I'm not really used to, which are a different story themselves, and like anti-inflammatories. It was a hard time. Now, my theory, or I think I'm pretty bang on with this, is that I've probably caused some issues in that lumbar back region through the repeated spinal flexion of the burpee. I've also had guys commenting over the years, like you'll see their comments come up now and again where they talk specifically about lower back issues. There was a young guy I don't know if it was Holland or Belgium, but he actually, I think he done himself right up with burpees, and he put himself right out of commission. I always remember his comment, and it always stuck in my head. But because you get caught up in the burpee Kool-Aid, you kind of just put these thoughts to the side because you want to pursue this activity, because you want to get good at it. However, that was probably to my detriment. Now, this is what I believe caused this over time, and I'm going to give a shout out to a good friend here because this is just my take on burpees at this point. I would say that if I was going to do burpees, like if I was starting out in the game knowing what I know now, I would probably go with something like BDT, Busy Dad Training, and I'll explain why. Now, personally, the Busy Dad Training system was something that I dipped my toes into now and again, but it wasn't something that I did over time. It wasn't something that I focused on. But if I was doing it, I would probably do it now because it would take away the actually doing the long burpee sessions. I know Max can get high numbers in like 20 minutes. However, when you're doing 1,000 burpees, you're doing the crazy numbers, you're doing them every single day, no time limit, man. You are putting your back under tremendous strain, particularly that lower back, the spinal flexion, particularly if your technique is not up to par and you're not getting into a good squat. You're going to do yourself some damage eventually, or you're increasing the risk of it happening. So how would we negate that? Well, as I've said, I would probably concentrate on a more time-centric burpee program. Max is a simple program, and you just do it for 20 minutes, and that's enough. That's you for the day. That's a good approach because you're not putting the back under as much pressure as you would in, say, like a long hour session like guys like myself are doing at some point, and guys like to do. Right now, I don't think those sessions are probably a way I would go in terms of making sure that I keep my back a bit healthier. So definitely I would follow something like BDT in that respect if I wanted to train exclusively burpees. Another one I would also add is I wouldn't make burpees my own exclusive form of training anymore. They would just be a condiment. They would just be incorporated into an actual workout themselves, so that I'm getting a benefit from the burpee. It's used as a tool to keep my heart rate up, but it's not the be all and end all. It's something that I'm just kind of using to kind of keep the whole workout going, as opposed to just doing all-out burpees, which is intoxicating, I get it. Guys love it, particularly guys who haven't exercised and they get right in about it, but I would do something that's time-centric so that I'm limiting the amount of spinal flexion that's occurring during the workout. That's probably how I would go about burpees right now. As for myself, I'm taking a back seat from burpees because I'm at a position now where I don't see the point of doing a burpee anymore because my back's, it's like my mind has taken a hit. I've been psychologically affected by this back injury. It was debilitating. But that's a story for another video. We might go into that at a later date. Anyway, guys, for my regular content consumers or fans or whatever you want to call it, yeah, man, I'm training, guys, as usual. Just try to get in about it, but I don't know how things are going in the future. It's hard to make content now. It's hard, man, because it is what it is. But I'm going to make a video on that. Listen, guys, rambling as usual. Hopefully these 3 tips are enough for you guys to kind of limit any mishaps or any wee potential niggles that might appear when you're getting started on your burpee journey. Anyway, guys, listen, thanks for staying strong and thanks for staying conditioned.